welcome to another episode of the Afterschool Anime Club. I am one of your hosts, Max Newland, and today I'm joined, as always, by two of the greatest anime co-hosts in the whole world. Unlike other organisms on the planet, she possesses the ability to reason. It's Stevie Matos.
Are you sure about that? I'm not sure about that. I would argue that
I'll give it to you.
Well, thanks. That's a vote of confidence I didn't know I needed today. Appreciate you.
And I've never seen someone so horrifyingly strong. It's Max Kostrak.
That's false. Sometimes you hit these on the money, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that's not me. I'm looking around the room for the other guy.
You have anime strength.
That's true. In my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, in your heart. That's where it counts. And that's not all. Today we have another guest on the show. Best known as Lady Tabletop Online, she hosts the Moonshot podcast Alone at the Table, a solo TTRPG show. They also publish tabletop games both independently and with Hope Punk Press, their small press. It's Audrey Stoles.
Audrey!
Hi! I'm so excited to be here.
Thanks for being with us, Audrey.
Hey.
Happy to join the club.
Your show is one of the more recent Moonshot editions.
Yes.
Am I right?
I am the more recent class of 2023, so came on at the beginning of the year, and I applied on a whim, made a couple episodes for fun, and saw a post going around on Tumblr, sent it in.
Living the dream.
Hell yeah.
Living the dream.
Absolutely.
Welcome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's been fun.
Yes.
Yeah, so listener, if you've been following Moonshot on Twitch or anywhere else, you've probably already seen and heard a bit of Audrey, and we're glad they're here with us today. But I know you're a gamer.
Yes.
You like to play the games. Well, that's great because you're among friends here.
Oh, boy.
Are you? Because when you said it like that, that felt like a threat. I don't know if we're among friends here.
Anytime I get referred to as a gamer, that hurts. It feels like an insult.
It's a tough one, right? It, because it's a no true Scotsman kind of thing. But here's the thing. We're all having fun, and we're all here to have fun. And that's what the point of the After School Anime Club is, right? To have fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
you know what's really fun?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Have fun.
The most fun we can have is by playing a game that I like to call Band for Life.
Oh, yes.
Fuck
Our
yeah.
fan favorite.
Fan fave. Yes.
Today we're playing a version called Band for Life Gunsmoke Edition. It's the game you know and love, but this time it's all Trigun AMVs.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
All right.
Audrey, are you familiar with this one?
Give me a quick rundown.
So I have scoured the internet's most vital and important resource, animemusicvideos.org. For a number of anime music videos. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe the video to you, give you some clues, and tell you the artist that was used for the song, the artist that wrote and performed the song in the video. You have to tell me what the song is. And this is a multiple choice quiz.
Excellent.
So yeah, it's all Trigun videos this time, which is fun. There's almost 2,000 of them on animemusicvideos.org.
That rules. What a wonderful website.
Incredible
truly.
website.
Absolutely. 100%. Wow.
I'm proud to give them $10 a month. Go online and donate. Anime Music Videos.
I don't think that I knew this website existed.
Yeah,
you need to know.
It's so cool.
Audrey and our listeners, if you find yourself with an evening and you're like, what should I do tonight? Lose yourself in the world of anime music videos.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want to not scroll and you want to understand the origin of the fan cam, animemusicvideos.com. .org.
Perfect.
.org. So good.
Perfect.
.org. So good. It's so great.
Okay. So the player who's most recently watched a music video in real life will be going first. Who is that?
I'm trying to think how long it's been since I have watched a music video.
I'm trying to think what's the most recent music video I saw.
I watched all of Dirty Computer last year.
It's me because a couple of did I tell y'all about this? So somebody on Twitter before it super died, put all of Michael Jackson's Moonwalker on there, and Moonwalker was like his first so yeah, like the whole hour and a half movie of Moonwalker. Just in case you don't know what Moonwalker is, before I go off on this tangent, Moonwalker was done like essentially in the first leg of Michael Jackson's legacy. So it's everything from when he was starting on the Jacksons all the way up to Smooth Criminal, because it dropped in 1988. So it's kind of like a video diary, but it's not like interviews. It's just like a if you're looking it up, it's just like a collection of like all of the videos and like marks and like points of his life. So it's kind of like a visual, but not like Lemonade, but kind of like the predecessor to like what a music visual would be.
Yeah.
But within that was the tiny movie that was connected to, that was around the music video that is Smooth Criminal.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow,
does
so
anybody remember this? Does anybody know what this is? Because I felt crazy until I showed this to Clown Fiance, and then Clown Fiance was like, "What the hell is this?" It's like the best thing ever. So essentially, all you need to know is that Michael Jackson's friends with orphans. Don't ask me questions. Just listen to what I'm saying. Michael Jackson's friends with orphans. He doesn't know how to play soccer. He turns soccer into a football. He actually finds Joe Pesci in a cellar trying to with a goal of selling drugs to kids, replacing prayer in schools with drugs, and using spiders, I guess, to give them all around. Because Michael and one of the orphans he's hanging out with finds out about this, he like spends his whole life trying to track them down, and then Joe Pesci steals one of the kids, and Michael Jackson has to go save her. At one time, Michael Jackson turns into a car, and then sometime after that, that's when you get the Smooth Criminal video, and then he turns into a robot, which Clown Fiance called Megazord Michael, and it's kind of accurate. And then he turns into a jet, and then he blows up Joe Pesci.
It feels like a dream I had. That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I give it to you. I guess you're going to go first then, Stevie.
Wow.
It also sounds like a fucking AMV if I'm being real.
Yeah, honestly. It's...
So please, everyone, do make sure you go check that specifically out.
Yeah, that thing out, and also animemusicvideos.org.
Yeah,
like I already have a list coming out of this.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Hashtag not an ad.
Not an ad.
Okay. Number one.
Oh, Lord.
I'll go ahead and tell you the name of it. It's Gunsmoke Outlaws by Tsunami Jones. Okay?
Good name.
The anime music video. So, Tsunami Jones went the extra mile. Split screen, transitions, dissolves, fades, made in Windows Movie Maker, all on beat to this Beastie Boys track, which sees Nick, Vash, and Knives taking the role of the singers in this autobiographical rap story. Was this A, Intergalactic, B, Paul Revere, C, No Sleep Till Brooklyn, or D, Brass Monkey?
I'm gonna go with No Sleep Till Brooklyn, because I want to say Intergalactic, but my first choice is usually wrong. I don't know. Final answer is No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Okay, that's incorrect. It was Paul Revere.
Oh, I don't know Paul Revere. Okay.
Ooh, yeah,
I don't know Paul Revere.
A little bit of a rarer one.
Mm-hmm.
What a deep cut.
Yeah, I was like, that's a deep cut.
Here's the thing. No Sleep Till Brooklyn, also an autobiographical song. So totally makes sense.
Thanks. Quiet.
Number two, let's go with Audrey, since you're the guest this week.
Sure.
I can't tell you the title of this one because it would give it away, but suffice to say it's a remarkably fitting tune. Remember when Will Smith was known more for his music career? When this song came out, I'm sure he wished he still was. Was it A, Wild Wild West, B, Getting Jiggy With It, C, Miami, or D, the Fresh Prince theme?
Knowing what I know about Wild Wild West and how it was received, I gotta go with Wild Wild West.
Indeed, it was Wild Wild West. This was the song, this was the AMV Wickety Wild West by Vancore.
That's
rules.
That song did kind of slap though when I was in like middle school.
It's pretty good.
That song
he brought a horse to the
it.
Grammys that year to perform this.
Oh
Yeah, he
my
rode
God.
a horse into the Grammys. You got to look up the video of it. It's amazing. Or it might have been the MTV Music Awards, but one of the awards shows.
One of them. Yes, he did. I forgot about that. Unmatched.
Okay, Max, you're up.
Okay.
Number three. We've kind of memed this song out in the modern world, but Simple Plan wasn't kidding with these lyrics, which accompany scenes of conflict across Vash's entire life, focusing on his relationship with his brother. Was that the song A, Summer Paradise, B, Last One Standing, C, I'm Just a Kid, or D, Welcome to My Life?
I feel like several of their songs have been memed. It's very difficult.
At least two on this list.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say at least two. What was that last option one more time?
Welcome to My Life.
That's my guess.
Okay. Welcome to My Life. It was I'm Just a Kid, unfortunately.
God. Oh, I should have gone for it.
I'm just a kid and life
is a nightmare.
Yes.
It's so true.
my
That's the
God.
thing. It's so fucking true. That was the video Alone in the World by Vegito EX.
God.
The names. Thank you.
So glad they preserved the usernames on
I
this.
know,
It's really-
that, I know
for
that
telling
you
us
can make a
the
game
names.
out of the names on this website too, Newland. I'm going to...
somehow.
Someday.
Names.
Stevie,
Okay.
I think you might have this one, Stevie.
Okay.
I think you sit in the Venn diagram of multiple reasons you could definitely get this one. Okay. You ready?
Uh-huh.
Cage the Elephant
All right.
captured a hard truth with this song that rocketed them to stardom after being featured in the opening cinematic of Borderlands.
Yep.
And this 2010 AMV fits nicely over the scenes from Trigun, Cowboy Bebop, Hellsing, and Full Metal Alchemist. Is the song No Rest for the Wicked? B, Back Against the Wall? C, Shake Me Down? Or D, In One Ear?
It is Ain't No Rest for the Wicked. Hey,
That
money
is
don't
so
grow on
right.
trees. God, remember when they used to play
Bills
at
to
Tid
pay, mouths
Balls?
to feed, etc.
Man, remember when they used to play at Tid Balls? Dang, come on.
I do remember this.
College
I used
life.
to.
I was there.
Shout
This
out.
was this is like the coolest thing we can say. I feel like about
Yes.
ourselves is that we like are from their hometown
We
or
went
like
to-
what
we
lived
went
in
to
their hometown
college.
during that.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that the drummer's sister was in the theater department with us.
Cool.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I
Wouldn't
think
be
she
shocked.
was. I think she was older than me, but I think she was crazy. But yes. They are from Bowling Green, Kentucky, and all three of us went to school there.
Yeah. Audrey, are you ready for your next question?
I think I'm ready.
Okay. Number 5, something about Trigun and emo music goes really well together. This particular video was scraped from the internet, but one can only imagine that this Evanescence hit from their debut album Fallen had some poignant things to say about Vash the Stampede. Was this A, Bring Me to Life? B, Everybody's Fool? C, Going Under? Or D, My Immortal?
Oh, man. Okay. So, see, there's a couple songs that I'm like, they're more well known, and it would be easy to say that those are the choices. But I think I'm going to have to go with Everybody's Fool.
Feels right, doesn't it?
It does. But just talking
Feels
about
like it
Vash.
would be right because he's a dummy. But unfortunately,
Well, he lets himself be played the fool.
He's everybody's
It's so right.
fool.
He's truly
that's so
everybody's
right.
fault.
Unfortunately, it was My Immortal.
I knew it was my
Really?
immortal. I was like, it's my immortal.
It was My
Dang.
Immortal.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. Evanescence just nuclear bombed every single Evanescence AMV that exists on the internet.
I
There
did
simply
not
are
know
none.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Look,
They got
my
people for
specific-
copyright, huh?
Mm-hmm.
My specific AMV knowledge is that Christian rock is the backbone of AMVs.
Yeah.
It kind of is. Yeah, it really
There's
kind
a
of is.
weird amount of songs where when you look them up outside of the AMV context, they're deeply religious.
Does anybody watch Fundy Fridays on YouTube?
do not.
You should check it out. It's this
I've never
woman
heard of
who
this.
essentially just like delves into like the religious stuff that's like religious cults and like religious groups, and she was not raised religious at all. So she just comes at it from like a scholarly, I just want to know what these are standpoints, and she's doing a 3-part series on the rise of Christian music, like mainstream
Nice.
Christian music. And so
That's awesome.
And she's starting from like the early like Rosetta Tharpe, like she's starting from like the 50s,
Whoa.
60s, and she's going all the way until 2010. So she just did part 1 and part 2, and part 2 is going up into the 90s. So it stops at grunge. She's talked about Kirk Franklin. Did y'all know that Kaja Gugu was a Christian band?
I did not.
Kaja
I've
Gugu.
never heard.
Yes,
I've
you
never
have.
heard these words in that.
Yeah, da-da,
These
shy,
phonemes.
shy, hush, hush, I do
Yeah.
I. That song, that's Kaja Gugu. Shy, shy, hush,
Whoa.
hush. They're a Christian band. And they're like, no, we don't like to say we're Christian. We like to say that we're a band that just so happens to be Christian. And that was like the angle that a lot of them took. Like Reliant K
Yeah.
is a Christian band.
Oh, I knew Reliant K was.
Like some of them
Yes.
like are obviously like
But I recall several times from my
MXPX is
childhood
one
of being
too.
like, hearing a new band and being like, oh, this sounds interesting, and then realizing about 45 seconds into the song, oops,
it's Christian.
no, not what I was looking for.
Yeah, MXPX is one that was Christian. I was like, bitch, what? Like,
That's very cool. I will have to look that up.
yes, I was listening to it while
Strange.
making banana pudding yesterday, and Charlie was watching it again with me.
Oh.
Clown Fiance was watching it again with me because he had watched it already without me, and we had to have a conversation about that. And
Yes.
so I was making banana pudding in the kitchen, and when I heard Kaja Gugu, I was like, no. I like teared up. I was like, you can't. You took this from me, Jesus. Why did you take
Stole it
this from
away.
me? God, you stole this from me.
Once again, every
damn
time,
it.
some feels like.
Damn you, God.
We're at the end of the quiz,
Okay.
and Max, it's your turn.
Okay.
If you get this, it'll be a 3-way tie.
Oh, damn.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure.
You got this. Look,
I'm
you
just
just got on
saying.
the board. You achieved your goal. You got on the board.
Number 6. I guess I'm not the only former musical theater kid to get really into Trigun. I don't know what exactly
No.
AMV artist Grover, or where exactly AMV artist Grover found the inspiration to combine Trigun with Rent, but I'm surprisingly okay with it. Is the song A, Tango Maureen, B, Seasons of Love, C, La Vie Boheme, or D, One Song Glory?
Oh, sorry.
Oh my God.
Max,
Why-
you and I were both
did
in
this?
theater school around the same time Rent was big, right?
Yes. Mhm. It was so
but
big going to school.
it was a little bit before me, but
It's kind of on its way out. while we
yeah,
were
I'm
during our time.
gonna go ahead and jump on D for that one.
Yeah.
Would you believe it? You've just cemented the 3-way tie. It was One Song Glory.
Of course it fucking
Of
was.
Of course it fucking was. Of course it was.
it was.
Of course it was.
One song before I go. I mean, come on. I do love Adam Pascal, but that's the most like fucking one song to leave behind. Come on, please. I'm gonna like Muppet ass fucking song. I hate it.
Well, yeah, we have 3 winners today, but I think we're all winners.
We
really.
won. We
It
did.
feels like it. I feel like I learned so much from every Band for Life episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a fun game.
It's
this
so
is a
good.
good game.
I love
winner.
Band for Life.
I think my favorite thing too is like what I really like about Band for Life is that you get to learn what people were into when they were kids, because like we've had a couple of rounds of Band for Life where like me and like where one person has like whipped ass at it because like this was
Yeah.
like a core part of their childhood, and it was like this genre of bands they listened to. Like there was, what was that one time where me and Koshak, we got mollywop because of like what was it, like the early 2000s like punk stuff. There was one that was like our graduation year, and we like knocked that out of the park. And then like the next one, it was all
I
like
do remember that.
it was like punk or ska or something. It was a very specific genre, and we were like, we
Probably
didn't
knowing-
know this
knowing
as well
my
as we
interests
thought
at
we
the
were.
time, very
It was
much.
great.
Band for Life opens a little portal into the past where you can see
It really does.
people. I mean, making the music videos. It's such a wonderful little piece at a time.
And when we're watching a really popular show like Trigun, it's really great to be able to like curate a little playlist for everybody.
Yes, so good.
I was tempted to put, there was one I just couldn't figure out how to write a clue for that wouldn't be immediately obvious, but I really wanted to get it on there because somebody did a Trigun AMV to Kiss from a Rose by Seal.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which is like,
Hell yeah.
with the context of what we watched today, kind of genius, actually.
So here's the thing. I will watch. Did that AMV essentially using Trigun shot for shot recreate the Batman Beyond video that is connected to the Seal song?
probably could.
Because I think
probably
it could.
could.
Because I was just thinking of like that freeze frame where, what is it? Is that Michael Keaton? Is that the one who's Batman
yeah.
in that one? And he like turns around and it's like on like my power, my pleasure, my pain. In the video, he like whips around and he's like, and it just freeze frames like with him looking really surprised in the bat suit.
And it's that
very
image of
dramatic
Vash
chipmunk,
waving.
you know?
Yes, exactly. Yes, scared chipmunk. It'd be sparkly Vash. Oh no, we could. It's possible. I just want that person to do that for me.
Do you know what I can do for you right now?
Yes.
Is talk about 2 episodes of Trigun that we watched.
Okay, I love it.
What happened?
Perfect.
Yeah, what happened?
That's a great question, but we're about to find out because today we watched episodes 17 and 18 of Trigun, and this is what we saw. Episode 17, Ren Severum, takes place entirely in flashback. We meet a gang of plucky space explorers, excited to finally find a planet that might be able to support life. This is Project Seeds, and its mission is to save the human race from extinction. Here we meet Rem, the woman from Vash's visions, as well as a young Vash, and his twin brother, Knives. We start to get some evidence that Vash and Knives aren't normal kids. Rem calls them angels, and they seem to have remarkable abilities that crewmate Steve doesn't seem too comfortable with. Things take a dark turn when Knives decides he wants to differentiate himself from his brother a little. A dichotomy emerges: the naive, compassionate Vash and the cold, pragmatic Knives. Things start to break down fast from here. Steve goes in the freezer, framed for an odious crime. Rowan, spurned by his coworker Mary, commits double homicide, and Captain Joey ejects him into space before he can make it a triple. Knives takes matters into his own hands, killing Joey and starting the orbital drop early. Rem stays behind to try and find a way to save the seeds, but the ship explodes in Atmo, and Knives reveals his treachery to Vash. Episode 18, Goodbye for Now. Hey, Wolfwood's back! Oh, and it looks like Vash is here too, but he's in disguise as Ed Elric's dad for some reason. There's yet another big creep calling himself Vash the Stampede and causing trouble for everyone. The real Vash prostrates himself before the imposter, but before the evil bandit can take a shot, he spots Wolfwood and flinches. But still orders one of his goons to shoot. Vash and Wolfwood are reunited at the hospital and they catch up. Turns out Vash has been living here with a girl called Lena and her grandma, trying to have a peaceful life with people who he can care for. Speaking of which, Lena gets kidnapped by the bandits, and the Dream Team goes to settle the score. They clean up off-screen, and Vash says a tearful goodbye to his new family. After a nice haircut, of course. And that's it.
Damn.
That's it for Trigun this season.
How dare you say Elric's dad? What the fuck? It's true. Why would you
Exact outfit.
How dare you?
It's the glasses and the hair down and the
And
suspenders.
the sadness beard.
Oh god, yeah.
shot
The scruff.
through the
Like
heart.
I can't grow a real beard, but it's not worth shaving.
I wasn't ready. Like that shit. Look, I nearly kicked something. I would have fucked up the recording.
So heavy stuff.
It was big. Big stuff.
A lot of exposition.
So much. So much.
This is the big reveal, right? This is this is kind of what we've been building towards, these
This is
questions of
Yes.
why the hell are we here? What is going on?
Yes.
Finally, we have this sort of like, oh, this is the kind of sci-fi setting this is, and being able to sort of establish that.
But I like that we're just now getting it. I think it's really important
Oh,
that
yeah.
we got it now.
Yeah, it's
because
great.
It's great because now we're invested, right? Now we're so invested in this person. Now we have, because we also got to a point in the main story where, he's trying to cut ties to people who's been taken care of, by proxy, Meryl and Millie. And like, he's trying to go at something alone. And you're like, okay, well, what's this big thing that he's like having to like switch complete, he has to drop the Bugs Bunny act for. So getting it now to be like, this is what he's actually up against, I think is a pretty, it's a nice plot device. It's a nice way to structure the story. I think the one thing I struggled with in episode 17 was the passage of time in the episode itself, because I couldn't tell if Knives is, sorry, I gotta unlock my phone. I couldn't tell if Knives' treachery had started. I couldn't tell when it had started, and I couldn't tell how much time had been passing between, because like
it was packed. Very dense episode.
Do you mean from when he activated Vash's arm to like when Vash was on the farm, or do you mean like from the time that they were kids?
Within that time when they were children, like when they're kids. So it's like, I didn't know, like there's a moment where he obviously reckons like, well, if humans have fucked up Earth, why the fuck should you go somewhere else and fuck up another planet? That's gross. So we see him have this realization that he's beginning to, we see him having this realization that he's beginning to rationalize that humans are a parasite, but
right.
What point in time when he's attacked by that really horrible dude, that like xenophobic asshole who's like
Steve who starts the episode with a boob grab on Mary.
Like,
cool Steve.
Misogynist Steve, like he's gross fucking Steve. Skeevy
one
Steve.
of my notes is literally Steve hate crimes a kid because he's an alien.
Yeah. Hate crimes a kid because he's an alien. So I'm like, what's the passage of time between him hate criming a kid and this kid just essentially orchestrating the death of the last remaining humans in space? Like, that seems like it happens in like 12 hours of each other.
It's a dense episode, and I think that that's intentional, but I definitely always read it as there is at least a few months passing, because they mention kind of offhand that Vash and Knives have only been on the ship for like a year. And we see them being found as babies, but they are like clearly like 9 or 10 in a lot of what we're seeing. And so to me, I always read that as like, okay, they're like, they've cut their hair. They're getting a little bit older. Like when they're in the spacesuits and the escape pods at the end of the episode, they look more like teenagery. So my inclination is to say that at least a few months have passed in the time, that it's not that instantaneous, but it does feel really, really fast, just the way that it's paced.
Yeah, I think this is one of those flashbacks where we're just looking at the important bits. But it feels to me like this did take place over the course of a longer time. Like this is stuff that built up among
This could have been a season of television.
He suddenly realized.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. I agree.
And also, this is one of the denser episodes from the perspective of like adaptation. There are 4 chapters of manga in this one episode.
That's a lot to do.
That's why it's also so compacted. Got it. So they were like, we got to give you
compressed.
We've got to give you the most important things that like, we got to give you character building blocks, and that's pretty much all we've got space for. Yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Are you guys like at all interested in covering Trigun Stampede that's coming out right now?
Yes.
We have definitely discussed at the very least an episode or a bonus where we maybe have watched all of it or part of it.
So I will say I started watching it, and what surprised me is they start with all of the spaceship and REM stuff in that show.
Oh,
they do.
This
it's very first thing you see before credits roll.
That's fascinating to me because I really, same as Stevie, I really agreed this delaying the flashback until now and being devoid of that context and just being on a Wild West sci-fi world with no context, I think really did a lot for the show. And I'm curious how that plays out.
I am as well, because I haven't kept watching after that.
I was like, what are you doing?
I was like, I have some questions. I think I want to just rewatch the original for now.
Valid.
I'm wondering what the impetus for that is, because I can see on the one hand, there's a really strong argument, I think, for what we're doing here, which is you see Vash at his silliest so that you can understand the gulf between like how serious things are for him and what he's doing to kind of cope with that.
Yeah.
But I can also understand from the perspective of like the show is almost 25 years. This show's almost 30 years old.
Right.
And people probably know stuff about it. So it would be weird for us. It's kind of like when Final Fantasy VII Remake came out and people started being all hush-hush about Aerith dying in Final Fantasy VII.
It's like, if you don't know that by now, where have you been?
Yeah, where have you been?
That.
Yeah. How has this one big ass spoiler escaped your ass? Like, how did you not
Have you
know
heard of a
this?
movie called The Sixth Sense?
Hey, I do have a fun fact. My husband both does not know that Aerith dies in Final Fantasy VII
Well, he
and
can't
does
listen to
not
this.
know what the twist of the Sixth Sense is.
How?
I am not joking.
He can't watch this. He can't listen to this episode.
I
I'm gonna
know.
tell him to skip
I already
this.
told him, I was like, I'm going to talk about this show and I'm just going to tell you if it's one that you can listen to.
He can't listen to this because we just spoiled both of those for him. That's amazing.
Wow.
So you guys, I have never played the original Final Fantasy VII. I had never played it. So my first Final Fantasy VII exposure was the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I was supposed to play as a child. It got stolen from me, whatever. But I found out through the internet that Aerith died.
Terrible.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah.
That's why I've never lived on a first floor apartment ever since. But anyway, yeah. So I found out from the internet that Aerith dies, and when I had first started the game, I was like, oh,
Bummer.
Tifa's better. Tifa and Jessie are the girlies. But now that I'm playing
Did you know-
remake, I'm like, okay, well maybe Aerith is that bitch. Hold on.
I learned something that made me angry. Speaking of, okay, we can get back to Trigun in a minute, but
We got a tangent. This is important. Chase the rabbit.
This is important.
the Ultimania they released, the book about Final Fantasy VII Remake, talks about some cut content, and there would have been a cut content where you do missions with Tifa for Jessie. And it's about their relationship as friends.
Oh.
And I'm like, fucking, how did you cut? I mean, I understand how they cut it. It's a big fucking game. But,
yeah, it's a huge game.
But why did you cut that?
Right, because you know what? Here's the
That's
thing.
all I want.
You could have given me that. I would have thrown the money at, even though I did not, because I'm a PS Plus member and I waited for that bitch to go on to the free. I'm a PS Plus member and I got to play it for free. I did because I ain't trust. Okay, Square Enix did us dirty with fucking Kingdom Hearts. They had us by the
Square
balls
Enix.
and made us give them all that money for a decade. And I was like, you ain't gonna do that to me with Final Fantasy VII. You ain't gonna do that to me.
I'll admit it right here. I was banging the drum. I'm like, I don't think this game is going to be any good.
A lot of
right
people
up until the
felt that way.
moment the demo came out, and I said, oops.
So I was like, you ain't gonna break up this game that was 3 disc in the 90s because we ain't have the space like that, because we have the technology into
3 discs.
8 games. You ain't gonna do this to me. I learned from my lesson. Okay, I did that Sora shit for a long time, and I deal with Donald Duck and his stupid ass antics.
And they bring that same man back to do Final Fantasy
They
VII.
sure the fuck did. And I was like, I'll trust you. And then I think it was you, Newland, who was like, no, do it. It's good. Get it for free on the PlayStation Plus. And so I was like,
Yeah.
damn. So I could have dealt with, I would have had the DLC being about Tifa and all them missions and not Yuffie. I mean, Yuffie's fine. Yuffie's fine.
I have the perfect on-ramp for us.
Okay.
I found it. Tetsuya Nomura, famous for his very unique and interesting character designs. Vash the Stampede's pants situation.
Let's talk about these.
Kind of a belts and buckles and zippers guy, no?
Wait, you
Kind
mean like Full Metal Alcadad or just like his regular outfit?
No, just regular.
Oh,
but then
okay.
we can get
Regular
back into
Vash,
Full Metal
Red Vash.
Alcadad.
Got it.
So
okay.
he has mummy legs. That's my opinion.
He does.
But they're
He
does have
leather
mummy
and
legs.
belts.
So, like,
Yep.
Well, that's the Nomura thing.
Wait, does this mean?
Wrap it up.
Hold on. Does this mean that Vash the Stampede, if we put Vash the Stampede into a Final Fantasy game, does that mean he would be a sorcerer? Because ain't no Final Fantasy game that doesn't have a sorcerer that's not made of belts. Am I wrong?
I mean,
I'm sorry.
here's the
He's
thing that
already
his
in
arm
Final
does.
Fantasy.
Wait, what?
He's already in Final Fantasy? What?
He's already in Final Fantasy VII Remake, but they called him Johnny.
That's true. Yeah.
See, I was just saying any Final Fantasy game because who was the sorceress who had her
Lulu.
dress? Lulu. Come on.
Dress
We love
made
a
of belt. I
belt.
remember
We
making
love
fun
a
of that.
belted bitch. We love her with her moogles. We love her. She's so good. She looked
When
mean as
Lulu
hell.
and her racist fundamentalist boyfriend Waka,
Oh yeah,
Oh my
Waka
God.
was the
Voiced
worst.
by Bender.
the Tim Tebow of Blitzball.
Oh no.
kneels every time he scores.
No, I'm going to bat for it. Hey, everybody, go play Final Fantasy X. Go play that remake of it. Go revisit it. It's pretty good.
And if you like outfits, 10-2's your game. 10-2 so good.
Oh my god.
Okay, anyway. Out of Final Fantasy Zone. Anyway, back to Trigun.
Yeah, so this is cool. It's cool that we're doing, like, now we know a lot, right? We don't just know about Vash, we also know why there is human civilization on Gunsmoke.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And also why it's kind of bare, because of the not as planned orbital drop.
Yeah,
right.
It's a fucked terraforming mission. I mean, it's just...
Yeah.
Oof.
They tried to make the best of what they had because they were forced into a situation that they couldn't really get out of, which kind of sucks.
Right.
I did laugh out loud a little when Rem said, we're going to a new planet and there will be no war and no stealing. And I'm like, yeah, that's certainly going to work out for you.
Right.
Rem is like,
Starfleet,
she's like
baby.
the
Rem,
ultra religious figure, you know?
Yeah.
I loved Rem, man. This got me emotional watching the way that plays out with the way they get separated. I mean, it's sad, really, we get such a remarkably short amount of time with this relationship, and yet it feels so real and so understandable. Like we can understand everything about Vash from this relationship he had with Rem.
Because she's like mother and teacher and sister and like first crush all in one to him, you know?
Yeah.
And all of the scenes, I think there's some bits that maybe feel a little blunt, like the spider and the butterfly.
Yeah.
Whoa, that was a metaphor?
Oh, wow. Whoa. It has officially thrown the ex-English teacher. Whoa. A metaphor that you can catch. Whoa.
Does
Stop
that
the
mean
presses.
something?
Stop the presses. The English teacher is thrown. So
I'm gonna say a hot take. I'm gonna say a hot
Please.
take, and you guys can tell me if you agree. And I'm gonna say it without hopefully spoiling anything.
Do your best.
Rem and Wolfwood are the same. They both are ultra religious figures, even if in Wolfwood's case that seems to be mostly surface level, that help Vash do the right thing and get on track and take action when he needs to take action. And they shape the way that he behaves and walks his path.
I mean, there's merit.
You've definitely given me something to like pay very close attention
There's
to for
merit.
the rest
Right.
of the show.
I literally have had to like cross off like half of my notes because I'm like, these are things that aren't going to make sense unless you guys rewatch it later.
No.
Just because of the stuff you're going to find out. But that is something that like the parallels between Wolfwood and Rem, I just feel like, I don't know. To me, it is even in Wolfwood's case where you can tell that he is, you know, a traveling priest mostly just in name because it's a good way to get around and to talk to people, right? Less than being an actual priest.
Right.
He's still like in this episode when he's in the hospital, when Vash is in the hospital, he's the one who's like, hey, like, get up, get moving. You can't stay here. Like, you got to do something. You can't just live your life in this farm town.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he's
true.
the one picking him back up from the after what happened in the last two episodes, which is that is fascinating. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Now, it begs the question to me, where was Wolfwood 7 years ago when the July disaster happened? Because we also get to see the July disaster happen in this episode, in 18.
Yeah, that's true.
So now we know for sure it was a conflict between Vash and Knives of some sort. It was when Vash learns about what his right arm can do.
Oh yeah, and the casual drop that it's been 100 years since the ship's crashed.
107 years later we get at the bottom of the screen. Oh, so they're immortal?
So and that's actually something that Knives mentions is that like, so Knives is mocking Vash for the fact that Vash has that compassion for humanity that Knives doesn't have, because Knives feels as though that is a weakness.
They're not human, right?
Yeah,
because
they're not
know
human.
what they are. It's not explicitly stated.
Right.
They're referred to as angels and monsters.
He's also mentioned, but Knives also mentions that they have the ability to regenerate, like fucking that motherfucker from the X-Men, Hugh Jackman. I mean, not
Wolverine.
you know what I'm talking about, Wolverine. And he refuses something about it. He's like, you could regenerate and you don't. You decide to have all these scars or whatever. He says something like that, where he mocks him for essentially carrying his baggage instead of just moving on from it. So it's just like, that was interesting. I like that. But so yeah, they're 100 years old. They're practically immortal. They're virtually unkillable.
Yeah, I wrote this quote specifically that Knives says, which is, what's the use of growing up if the only thing that grows is your sentimentalism?
Yes, that was so deep. I was like, damn.
Whoa, dude.
I was like, nice.
Yikes.
He had some good freaking lines. Some really, like, the writing in these 2 episodes is very tight, I feel.
There was another one that I wrote that Knives said in 17. He was like, because I was after the haircuts, and Knives goes, if we stay the same, then there's no individuality. I was like, why you say it like that? I was like, why are you 10?
Now,
why you say it like that?
There was something that I heard a couple of times. So in episode 17, as Knives and Vash are in the pod, I'm pretty sure, Knives says that he's sabotaged the humans, but the ships carrying the plants will be okay.
Yes.
You heard correctly.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Future Max here, entering for the edit. There are going to be some pretty intense and heavy spoilers for what's coming up in Trigun, specifically related to the nature of Vash the Stampede and his twin brother Knives. If you don't want to hear about any of that, please skip ahead. I'm going to be playing some music over the time when we are talking about it, so skip ahead until you don't hear music. All right? Sounds good? Let's get back into it. This is the question that I wanted to ask, that I'm okay if I get spoiled on this. Are Knives and Vash living, like walking around, fully conscious members of the Kingdom Plante?
I will answer this for you. I will answer this for you, but I am going to tell listeners that you probably need to skip forward a little bit because I'm gonna spoil the rest of Trigun a little bit by answering this question.
Okay.
If that's okay with everybody.
Fine with me.
Yeah.
I mean,
the answer to your question, Max, is yes. They're
fucking plants.
They are plants. Yes. And there's a part where they're staring at the apple in like the sim room, and Knives says, do you think I'll be eaten someday?
That's what made me think that. That was the clue. That was like, oh, they think he's literally, he sees himself in the tree in a way that goes beyond like the metaphorical.
yes.
And the show goes into it some more, just like the specifics about where, like, their relationship to the plants as you currently know them. But yeah, the answer to your question is yes.
That's fucking sick. This is good science fiction to me.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
It's a great show.
I know I say that literally every episode of this podcast, but this is a good show.
It is such a good show. It is so
It's
good.
fucking great stuff.
It's so good. Ugh, we love it.
Other highlights.
Who is Lena's voice actor? Do you know that?
Vash gets nude.
Vash?
Vash's voice actor is Johnny Young Bosch.
But who's Lena's? Because Lena sounded really in 18.
I don't actually
that's
know.
a good
She
question. I
sounded
didn't
like
actually look that
somebody
up.
I had heard.
Yeah,
before.
okay, so Max,
She
we're not
sounded
going to
familiar.
skim over Vash Gets Naked.
Thank you. Thank
Barks
God.
like a dog. No, we're not skimming that.
Gets naked and barks like a dog.
Yeah, the bandit that's like taken over the town says that he'll so basically he sexually harassed Lena and it wants them to hand her over because she kicked him in the face.
Yeah.
Which is great. Good for her. I have in my notes, Lena is the MVP. And then like 6 lines later, Grandma is the MVP. Because Grandma was like trying to
These women are
wrestle
ready
a
for
gun out of the
violence.
medic room or whatever so she could
Hell
go
yeah,
fight
she
the
was.
bandits. Yeah, but yeah, so he wants Lena to be handed over, and Vash comes out like with his hands up and is just like, "Hey, what can I do?" And like prostrates himself on the ground and stuff. And the bandit is finally just like, "If you get naked and act like a dog," so he does. Because as we already know, Vash doesn't really care.
No,
What
he
does
doesn't.
pride matter to an immortal?
No, it does. It's irrelevant. And I also loved the follow-up commentary by the 2 dudes in the hospital being like, what's more important to you, your life or your pride? And one of them was like, I don't know. But what I do know is that I would not get in the middle of the street and take all my clothes off and bark like a dog. And I was like, you know what? That's valid.
Maybe you just never met the right bandit. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
And then Wolfwood appropriately kicks the shit out of these 2 guys.
Yeah, like, you're welcome for saving your fucking saloon.
And so directly turn to the camera and saying, get it? Do you understand what this show's about?
Wolfwood's like, I gotta defend Vash's honor. I gotta.
Essentially, the best. So good. I loved that. I loved the whole conversation, bringing it back to the hot take that Rem and it's Wolf Rem, bringing it back to the Wolf Rem theory, or Remwood, whichever you prefer.
Ooh.
I like that the conversation between Wolfwood and Vash, it was very much for Wolfwood. It was very much like, I need you for one last job, mate. It was like a very much like, what can I convince you to do? Like, what can I bait you with to get you to do this one thing that gets you out of it? But a lot of that conversation, like we said earlier, was Wolfwood saying, you can't stay here. This isn't your vibe. This isn't actually your vibe. This is what you want, but this isn't actually conducive to you. You are a big cat and you need more enrichment than this. You're not getting enough enrichment here.
It's really punctuated because immediately after that conversation, we have a flashback to Rem.
Yeah.
Like, talking to Vash and telling him, that he'll know what to do and to do the right thing and stuff. And so it's just like, how can you underscore it anymore?
Yeah. And Wolfwood knows that he is about, and that Wolfwood intrinsically understands that Vash is a person who is about righting whatever wrongs he has caused, however he can. And what we have seen from 17, and it bleeds into it leads into 18, and the underlying thing, we learned that the biggest wrong that Vash feels like he needs to rectify is knives.
Yeah.
Hence,
and I think also there is some recognition on Wolfwood's part there that there's a mess that only Vash can clean up.
Yep.
Out there that he's running from, which I'm curious about, because this is like Hidden Depths Wolfwood episode 2, because not only does the bandit hesitate to shoot while Wolfwood is watching, he specifically recognizes him, but also I feel like there is more than a decent chance that Wolfwood knows what's up with Vash and has been following him for a lot longer than we are aware of.
Yes.
Yet.
I think so too.
I think from the previous episode, we got a pretty good hint about him actually being involved with kind of the other side there. What was one of the missing member of the gang of people with wild names?
Gung Ho Gang.
Gung Ho Guns.
The Gung Ho Guns.
Gung Ho Guns. Yeah. Gung Ho Guns.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Chapel.
There's a fun line at the
Chapel,
end too that I really like. That Grandma says, and I didn't write it down exactly, but basically when they're getting ready to leave, she says something to the effect of like, unlike you, Mr. Preacher, Eric's is a good person with a good heart and kind and stuff. And it's just like, you sit there and you're like, wow, that was a sick burn. But Wolfwood straight up is just like, I know.
Yeah.
That's what he believes about himself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He and Vash have that in common, just like the amount of guilt that they take onto themselves.
Yeah.
And not that we necessarily at this point know why Wolfwood would feel that way.
But we do know that
But we
is
know
something.
it's there.
Yeah, it's something that
Oh, you can see it.
Yeah. He's too tall.
It's very obvious.
Where's all that guilt going to go? It's got to go in those broad shoulders. It's got to go in those fucking legs.
That's why he can't button his shirt up all the way. It's all the guilt.
Too much guilt.
Pushing out.
Yeah.
And here I thought it was his big pecs,
Well, what do you think is in there?
Yeah.
That's how it holds the guilt. That's where the guilt
His
goes.
pecs are full of secrets.
His pecs are full. Look, as a buxom
I'm
lass,
pretty sure I've read a
that is also
Trigun
where I put my
fanfic that has exactly that in it.
That's the title of the fanfic.
Yeah. Give it to me, AO3. Give me the titles.
Now I understand why Mac was saying that we'd be grossed out by the Trigun / pairings on AO3, because number 2 is Vash / Knives.
Oh yeah, it's
which
horrible.
is, oops, big problem.
Is number 1 Vash / Wolfwood?
Oh yeah, by a margin that is
I'm just checking.
kind of unreal.
Far and away.
Crushing it as always.
Here's the thing. I'm in favor of that ship. I am, however, also a very staunch Millie times Wolfwood. So
That was such a good episode where Millie and Wolfwood had to team up to save the day. They deserve each other. Millie is so
I'm
good.
I'm like, look,
The two
every time
MVPs.
someone's like, I could fix him. I'm like, no, you can't, honey. Get out of there. It's a red flag. But I'm like, she could fix him.
Yes.
Millie could fix him. That's the thing. Millie could fix anybody.
I don't think Millie would fix him. So here's my thing about Millie. Look, she ain't even in this episode. We entered the Millie zone. Fuck that. She's so great. So here's my thing about Millie. Millie is a ride or die. Like, she's a ride or die. She don't give a fuck about who you are as a person. As long as you don't. as long as you don't offend her or do something that is against her personal credo, she's gonna let you do whatever you want. If Wolford wants to run around being a mob boss, beating ass and doing crimes, Millie's gonna be like, look, I'm gonna hold it down. I'm gonna hold down the house, the fort, or whatever. Whatever assets I need to protect, I got you. Millie is a gangster. She a gangsta boo. Like, truly.
I love her. I used to cosplay her.
Actually, this is the new series I want to see.
Millie has done some crimes. Millie has done light crimes. She's crimed a little bit. I think she deserves more crimes as a treat. She's so good.
You've earned it, Millie.
Millie, do crimes. Be Millie, do crimes.
You all asked me who the voice actress for Lena was.
Yeah.
Because I think that was you, Stevie. You said she sounded familiar. And the thing is, yeah, she should sound familiar to all of us as anime fans. This is Michelle Ruff, and her career is going to blow your mind, okay? I'm just going to list off a few things. First of all, where we would know her from, Luna the Cat and Sailor Moon.
That's where I've heard her voice. I was like, okay.
Okay, let me hit you with this. Lupin the Third.
Okay.
Fujiko Mine.
Yes! Okay. Hell yes. Yes.
Do y'all remember the Digimon movie?
Yes.
She was the one in the third story, the big monster that goes crazy, the big crazy Digimon monster.
Yeah.
It doesn't end there. Dragon Ball Z, that's Chi-Chi.
Oh, that's what it is. That's the biggest one. It's Luna and Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi, she's a legend.
Street Fighter, a lot of video games. Castlevania, fucking Rukia Kuchiki in Bleach.
What?
Wow. Okay.
Sonic the Hedgehog. This is Cream the Rabbit. Folks, Gurren Lagann. She was Yoko in the English dub.
Oh,
that's right.
Okay.
That's right.
All right. Name I need to remember from now on.
Yes.
This woman's had an incredible career. Love to see it.
Yes.
Very happy for her. She's all over the place. The Fujiko Mine thing blew my fucking mind. Oh, fucking Demon Slayer. Main character in Demon Slayer.
Oh.
Wow.
So she's doing great. Shout outs to Michelle Ruff.
Yes. Hell yeah. Because I heard her and I was like, who are you? I've heard you before. Where are you from? I was like, where are you from? Why you talk like that? Where are you from? Truly.
Can I say for a second? It was only for a couple of seconds, but when Lena first shows up, and because I was immediately clocked, okay, that guy is Vash in disguise. Eric's, I guess is his name.
Yes.
Not even an anagram.
There was for a couple of seconds where I looked at Lena and I was like, is that Meryl in disguise also?
Well, he definitely has a type.
Yeah.
Yes. That's where I was like, is that a wig?
For 2 seconds, I was like, are you going to be a kid that I have to put in the bucket? Do you have to go in the bucket? And then she was actually not too bad.
No, Lena was good.
She does not deserve the Fuck Them Kids award. She's pretty great.
She was great, yeah.
She was actually pretty cool.
And
she was cool.
The fact that she does the haircut at the end. Man, what a sweet little button.
Touching.
I know.
What a poor... That was touching.
Like, I'm going to let you go, but I do have to fix this. This sucks.
You look like a mess.
Yeah.
You can't shoot with that. You gotta fix that. Fix your hair. But I also like how she did that, and she was just like, "This was the one thing I could do for you because you did so much for me." And I was like, "You're not annoying."
You know that like Vash staying with her and her grandma is like she found him when he was basically a monster, like when he felt like a monster and couldn't remember things and stuff, and so it's like. You know that to him, there's no way that he ever could do enough to repay them.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Especially just like thinking about the previous episode and like all the stuff that went down with Steve where he's calling them monsters and everything. Like, you know that Vash holds that in his head, right? So I don't know. I love it. I love the relationship that he has with Lena and Grandma.
To add to that, he mentions when he's talking to Wolfwood that he knows that he has done something in that previous town. But when he fires off, he's like, I know I put the hole in the moon. I know that I did all things in the town, but he has no recollection of actually doing the thing. So like how sad that is for like him to do a really big, horrible thing. And then the last memory he has, like he connects that to the memories of him as a child being called a monster. Like that sucks. Yeah. That's sad. That's sad. It's fucked up.
It's no fun to wake up in a crater. It's the worst, most traumatic hangover imaginable.
Yeah, absolutely. I cannot recommend that at all. -10 out of 10.
I just want Vash to have a nice, quiet, peaceful life. That would be
Don't
so
we all?
nice.
Can we have one more episode where he's just gonna do some jokes.
Playing
He's just
soccer
gonna
with the
hang
kids
out.
and like losing.
Just let him love donuts and
Yeah.
squabble with Meryl and have a good time, right?
Actually
Like,
adopt
would
that
be so
cat
nice.
that shows up in every episode.
I
That's not a
know.
flashback.
That cat that like 9 different people own in
Yes.
different cities across the planet of Gunsmoke.
Love that cat. Showed up on Grandma's lap, and I was like, "There you are." I was wondering where you
Yeah.
were. There you are, baby.
it's like the Where's Waldo of the show.
Yes. Is
I
the
do
cat
love
here?
when a show has that stuff, though. It's delightful.
Yeah.
And to make it a cat,
It's like the My Leg guy in SpongeBob.
Yes. Correct. Because I need to know that I'm watching the same show. If the cat's not
Yeah.
there, I don't know if I am. I am
Is
an
this
American.
Trigun?
and
I can't tell.
I can't tell.
The
I can't
only
tell.
through line.
Yeah. How else am I going to keep track of all these people? You know, we've got Big Dick Murph. We've got Marv. We've got, all these other human beings whose names I don't remember.
You've
We've
got Jimmy
Junkrat.
Smits, the pilot of the spaceship.
Yeah.
Like,
got Mid Valley the Horn Freak.
Mid Valley the
Mid
Horn
Valley
Freak.
the Horn Freak is the best name in this show.
I can't get over it.
So true,
Mid Valley
bestie.
the Horn Freak. We got so many names. Yo,
You gotta
we
watch
haven't.
out. If I have too many beers, I become a real horn freak.
Oh my God.
Did y'all know about the inventor of the saxophone and what a horn freak he was?
No.
I mean, to make a horn that freaky.
Did he bork his horns? Are you going to tell me that he used to bork his
No,
horns? my
but he
guy?
was just a real wild man. You should look him up. His name is Adolf Sax.
What?
Adolf?
Are you
Sax.
serious that
Yeah.
the saxophone is named after a person?
Yeah, it's his
so
name.
Good.
Oh
That's
my
so
God.
good.
Yeah. And you should
so
look
good.
into him. Seriously, he had a really crazy life. He almost died, I want to say, like 7 times before he was the age of 10.
Holy
There are a lot of
shit.
time travelers who did not want the saxophone.
Yeah, there are a lot. Yeah.
Oh no, wrong Adolf. Shit.
The one I wanted was a painter, not a fucking shit.
Wrong time.
I'm
He
already
hasn't,
here.
wrong time. He hasn't gone out of art school yet. Let's go. Oh my God. We haven't really talked. We talked about the timeline for the mutiny and all that stuff, but we haven't talked about Knives as a person. We get introduced.
Yeah.
We should.
This
We really
person-
I've
should.
been avoiding it.
Because he's kind of fucked up. Like this kid learned too much too quickly. So this is
Great
a child.
foil for Vash, though.
Absolutely wonderful foil for Vash. Like for me, I was like, oh, coming back to all this because it's been a minute. I was like, oh yes, that's right. This is why he's a problem. But when he's having that conversation in the boardroom with the other 2 adults, and he's like, when he rationalizes why humans are in space, I was like, oh, here you are. This is your reason. Here we go. Now you're a problem. Oh. Now we should put you in eternal timeout. Sorry.
What's funny is that as a 33-year-old adult, I heard him say that stuff and was like, yeah, that's about how it goes, kid. Like that's about right. But I have a level of like, as a person whose brain is done growing, I have a level of like remove that I can apply to that sentiment and be like, well, yeah, that's why we got to be better. But like for a literal 1-year-old, like, think about that. He is 1 year old. He looks like a 10-year-old child, but he's only been alive walking around for a year. So, like, I don't think he is going to receive this information.
They shouldn't have told him.
They really should not have. They should have
the
saved
thing
that.
that cracks me up is they have that and you like see the switch in Knives, and then the very following conversation is Joey being like, I don't know, Rim, I'm not a good parent. And I'm like, yeah, you're not.
You're really not, bud. Not a great job of providing context in that
terrible
moment,
at
Joey.
this. Yes, absolutely.
Captain Joey could have prevented some stuff.
Ooh, Captain Joey.
But I think also at the same time, I think what's also so scary about Knives as a child, one, yes, technically they are all 1 year old, but also they are both 1 year old, but also they are developing at a terrifyingly rapid rate. So like if we're going like with days and months are like essentially in the development of these not people, right? Of these not quite children.
The angels.
Yeah, these angels, so to speak. If if it's like, not to use a biblical term, but to use a biblical term, but if a day unto them is like years, the development, just tiny spark. And I think about how, children's development of ration and reason and logic and critical thinking developed by being sponges, like how quickly he could put all these things together. And so then it's like, and then Knives merely observing how all of the other people around him interact with each other. Because that's the thing about kids. They are not stupid. They're exceptionally observant.
They're very observant.
Very observant. And everything for them is a lesson, whether it is covert or overt. Most of the things that Knives was doing was just exploiting and manipulating the relationships that already existed to get what he wanted, which was really, it was like, damn, this is a bad guy. This is a capital B, capital G bad guy. Like, you're like, because he put it in a way.
Plays into like their intelligence. Like they specifically highlight the fact that they have this high IQ. They're already fixing things that took Steve a couple of days to fix much faster than him.
Right.
Like, it's like an AI gone wild, right? It's like, oh, now Knives is already at the point where he's running circles around the adults.
Right.
And is able to implement this plan.
Right. Sets up and frames somebody for assault. You're like, wait, baby, what? I didn't remember that. And I was like,
and then,
hold on.
and then all this other stuff, he gets so into Rowan's head that Rowan starts putting together insane schemes of his own. Like, part of me wonders if Knives was involved in Rowan making the choice to like put Steve in the deep, deep, deep freeze that he'll never wake up from.
Right.
Because, and the other, I mean, man, what a great sequence. Just an incredibly like tense and
it's completely ominous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dark.
Crazy.
And it all feels like you can see the dominoes falling. You can see how Knives was able to construct this so that it felt like, to give it momentum.
Right.
And it's like so many discrete pieces and so many people that could have acted differently, but to think that Knives understands human emotions and relationships so well just from his observations to set things up in this way, while at the same time like not understanding empathy for those emotions and relationships at all.
Right. Or understanding it and refusing to acknowledge it, because like I am not above saying that motherfucker is a sociopath. I'm not above it.
Oh, he is.
Not above
100%.
He's beyond saving. That's what the whole thing is about, I'm imagining.
Yeah,
right?
like he's irredeemable. He is the side of the coin that thinks that humans are a blight and need to be extinguished. And depending on the day, I'm Team Knives. So like I get it. But like, yeah, so he absolutely is like empathy, because like that's again flash forward to the beginning of 18, where he essentially says that Vash's empathy is in fact a weakness, because he's too powerful to have that kind of baggage. He shouldn't have to deal with that. He doesn't need to. He's practically a god. But yeah, no, him setting up all these things, being like, oh, I'm just going to exploit the fact that Rowan likes, what was her name? Mary, I think.
Mary.
Yeah.
Likes Mary, and drive him to madness and all this stuff. Because I was like, Mary's just trying to be chill. Mary's really just trying to land this thing. Why did Mary's very much like, now why did I have to why'd you bring me into this?
Yeah, extremely so.
Poor Mary. Let me see somebody get airlocked. Damn. Man.
I mean,
airlocked in this.
Oh, what a situation, right? Like, so yeah, like, would you have done any different? I don't know.
No.
I genuinely don't know if I'd have done any different in Captain Joey's position.
Right.
Because
at that point he was already, things had already progressed so far.
He lost half of his team members. He could barely and playing any sort of science
mission's
fiction game.
Fucked already.
Yeah, mission's so fucked. Like one person gets fucking cryogenically frozen and turned to an ice cube. You got one meat popsicle, and then you've got somebody who's just like essentially snapped. So you're down a man before this other person essentially snaps. So if anybody's played Mass Effect, you can't run a ship that big with not the correct amount of people on the team.
It's not possible.
Right. It's not possible. So
especially if you got, all of humanity on ice.
Right. So it's like, yeah. So it's wild. And Knives
incredible stuff.
Incredible.
I'm interested to learn more about where Vash and Knives came from.
Mm-hmm,
like why they appeared, like more about that circumstance. But I'm just really happy to know all of the stuff that we know now. And like it gives so much more color and depth. And
to put it specifically here, when we think about like the whole run of the series, we're at that like really important, what we're 2/3, 3/4 of the way through now. Now let's set this up with the final act. It's a good place to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think we can. We gotta finish Trigun at some point on this show.
We might have just come back.
I think it's
I'm so
basically
dialed
locked
in
that we finish it next season.
Yeah, we'll finish it next
season.
You gotta.
We gotta.
It's going to require doing more episodes than usual on Trigun, but I don't think anyone's going to mind.
I think
anyone will be
3-episode one. Yeah, we'll have.
Well, we could just do 4 pods on Trigun. I wouldn't be too upset about that.
Because what is it? We have
8 episodes left.
Oh, it's 8 left. Oh man, we might as well do 4. Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Not
sorry.
Extremely not sorry.
It's truly not sorry.
Here's what Trigun.
Right.
Here's what I will say: if you decide to watch the standalone movie, which is called Brawl in the
Badlands
Badlands,
Rumble.
or Badlands Rumble, thank you, something like that. You gotta watch it. Honestly, probably now, like after these 2 episodes. Otherwise, things are going to start happening, and you're going to be like,
it's one of those anime movies where they throw it in the middle of the continuity, and then by the end of it, it's like just a
one-off adventure that has Vash and Wolfwood and the girls in it, and it pretty much can go anywhere, but it fits best in the next like 2 or 3 episodes.
Okay.
That is good to know.
Interesting.
Good to know.
I love an anime movie.
I don't know because I didn't particularly love the Big Green movie. I didn't particularly love that. I can't get on board with you for that. The Big Green was not a good movie.
You weren't all about that DBZ movie we watched?
Yeah, the strongest guy in the world didn't hold your interest?
I was really not here for Goku's voice having a briefcase. No, that really threw me the fuck off. I didn't particularly care for that. I didn't like business Goku at all. And I really hate the fact that Piccolo didn't have a name.
Upsetting.
I didn't like the fact Piccolo didn't have a name. Everybody's name was said wrong. Only thing about that was good was Master Roshi just actually getting some screen time.
Weirdly, like the fucking, it's like you took Dragon Ball Z and flipped it entirely around backwards. The only good thing is Master Roshi.
Master Roshi like whipping ass.
Wow, yeah, that's pretty rare.
That's the only thing.
He's the Axis.
Yes. What the fuck? Anyway.
So this is our last, this season, our last little jump into Trigun here.
Yep.
It sounds to me that we're kind of all on the same page, that this show kicks ass. Continues to do so, and that we just want to watch more of it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say y'all shouldn't watch the rest of it on your own time, but we're definitely going to come back to it.
Yep.
We are coming back to this one.
100%.
I hope you're prepared for a little bit of tonal whiplash.
Oh, well, what's up next?
I forgot.
Leland?
What is next?
What's up next is a show called Mobile Fighter G Gundam.
Oh shit!
Which I've asked you two to remain as like spoiler free on as much as you can.
Show.
Anything I could say about it sounds fake because it's so silly.
It's silly as hell.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some fun next time.
We're gonna have a lot of fun next time.
Good. Oh my god.
Audrey, thank you for coming with us today.
Yes.
Thank you guys for letting me join the club for this episode. It's been so fun.
Yeah.
Tell us more about your work. What is Alone at the Table like?
Sure. So Alone at the Table is my show that I host where I play solo RPGs and tabletop games. I invite listeners to come along for the experience. It's about half actual play, half talking about game design, kind of
awesome.
How the games are structured, how you can play games by yourself and have fun. It's been nice to hang out with you guys because I do record that one by myself.
Yeah.
So it's a little lonely.
Very different energy.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice to hang out with people. But I also do a non-Moonshot show called Mordor, She Wrote, where I read Lord of the Rings with my friend Kayla because she's never read it and hasn't seen the movies and knows basically nothing.
Ooh.
And I was a Lord of the Rings kid. So, yeah.
That's cool.
Wow.
Lord of the Rings is a good one to do that with.
Truly.
I was amazed that she had stayed so unspoiled for so long. So I was like, we're going to do this before it happens.
I mean, before I watched the movie, all I knew was there's some hobbits, there's a wizard, and there's a guy who's like nasty. And he
Before
talks
Nasty
weird.
guy, yeah.
before I knew anything about Lord of the Rings, I think all I knew was that the worst kinds of white nerds liked Lord of the Rings, and I did not want anything to do with them because they were
The worst kind of white nerds, either Lord of the Rings or Warhammer.
Truly,
One of those
honestly,
two.
and
Yeah,
they were
take your
like
pick.
they were annoying as hell about it. Like they were so annoying. Like I could speak Elvish, and I'm like, okay, you want a fucking award? Like what the fuck? You can't speak that literally nowhere. How is that going to help you at the UN? Leave me alone. You can't work for the government being able to translate
before
that.
I watched Lord of the Rings, I was 11, and my cousin had Fellowship of the Ring on, and I saw Orlando Bloom playing Legolas, and I was like, "This movie's for me."
Yes.
And
Correct.
and
Something
probably
just unlocked.
yeah, my birthday that
got
year
a
was
new
Lord of the
ability.
Rings themed.
That's
and
awesome. I love that.
everybody
Yes.
gave me the books and whatever, and yeah, been a huge nerd about it ever since.
I was basically raised on it because my dad was a huge
There you go.
Lord of the Rings nerd. So The Hobbit was a bedtime story for me as a kid.
Gosh, cute.
And I read
That's
Lord of
cool.
the Rings.
Yeah.
But I didn't get. I don't know Elvish, Stevie, so I didn't get too
Thank
crazy
you.
about
Thank
it.
you. Because some people, they just get too intense. I'm like, calm down. Stop making this your whole
When
life. Go
I
touch
was
grass.
a
Like real
weird
grass.
middle schooler, I was really into Elfish. I don't know very much of it anymore. I know like the name of my OC and stuff that I had for Lord of the Rings. You
That's
know?
real.
But,
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
a Star Trek kid. I was raised in a Star Trek household. Next Generation
I
dropped
totally get it.
literally a year after I was
Same,
like,
Stevie.
not even a year.
Also
I think
Star Trek, though.
Yeah, Star Trek
Yeah.
dropped in
Yeah.
early '89, so I wasn't even one when it dropped. So we were Star Trek people. No, I don't know Klingon. No, I will not learn.
My
Don't.
mom used to watch Deep Space Nine all the
People
time,
like-
so
I
that
heard
was
that-
like what I grew up with.
I gotta try that show out. Everybody likes it.
I've heard
Yeah,
that
I
it
thought it
actually
was
is
fun.
pretty good. I've heard it's pretty good. So I
Yeah.
just, I'm trying to go through all of them. The original
It's a
series,
lot.
the original series is bad, but it's also good.
It is.
It's a
both.
challenging program.
It's
yeah.
rough.
I would like to go back and watch TNG at least.
It's
There
really
you go.
the original series is rough
I
because
watched
it's
a lot of that
really
in,
misogynist.
It was on the TV in the background as a kid for me
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
Yeah.
The first two seasons of TNG also kind of challenging.
They're rough too.
Yes.
They can be
are
rough
they?
too.
a
Okay.
little
can't-
tough. Yeah.
They're a little rough too. Like it's just it's hard to. I always try really hard when I'm watching old media to leave it where it was. Leave it in the air, like in the time and the era in which it was. That doesn't mean
Sometimes that's tough.
It's really hard though, because like sometimes it feels like I am, what's the word? Essentially agreeing with whatever they're saying. I'm condoning it. Yeah, it feels like I'm condoning it, but I'm not. I'm trying to just look at it as a vacuum. There have definitely been a couple, because watching the original series with like William Shatner, there have been a couple episodes I have had to skip, like the way that they like the yellow facing is rough as it is. Khan is definitely not an Asian or South Asian person.
No.
But the way they treat the way that they treat and depict Native American-esque alien races has been rough, and I have skipped a couple of those episodes.
Yeah.
And for all of, and I'm not trying to say that is like it's required, but like at the same time, there are ways that you can see, especially for the original series, how it was progressive.
Yes.
Like at the same, coming out of World War II and being in the middle of the Cold War, some of the characters that are introduced in further seasons, some of this, and also the Civil Rights Movement was happening at the same time that it was coming out. So like they tried really hard to push what was progressive at the time. But like so much of it would not fly today because we know better, and since society did the labor of making those other things, like fixing those social issues, we now have this bandwidth to fix the other ones, right? And I try, but sometimes I'm like, I gotta skip this episode. This episode makes me sick.
Yeah, it is very interesting to watch an old show and see someone maybe in like the most racist outfit you've ever seen turn to the camera and say something that for the time was extremely progressive, and it's like, you've got the spirit there. I don't know why the feather headdress is part of it, but like,
and I don't know why
one of those
you
things
are
where-
wearing it when you're white. Like, come on. Like, oh my
You're
God.
just like, okay, so he's got the spirit, but he's a little confused. You know? Like, we know Native American people existed. Like, you could have cast a Native American person.
Right. So it's just like, woof. Like some of those things are just like, you can't abide by it. You've got to skip the episodes. Thankfully, most of the time, those are episodes that are skippable and you are not going to be missing anything that you either A, couldn't find on the internet, or B, is going to actually really take away from the development of a story. But with episodic series, with episodic shows like Star Trek, the original series, more often than not, it's pretty irrelevant if you watch them anyway, because there's rarely ever a through line except for like the bad guys that like Khan, I think.
And to bring us back around, if you haven't, go read Lord of the Rings.
Honestly, yeah.
It is actually, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that the books are actually quite good.
Pretty well.
Yeah, it's aged pretty all right.
I was going to say, read Lord of the Rings through the lens of knowing when Tolkien wrote it in the 30s, early 1900s, whatever, 30s. And also just with his understanding of war and race at that time, because there are definitely some parts where I'm like, that feels a little weird. I don't love that, but
that's race coded and I hate it.
Anytime we're talking about dwarves, I'm just like, just a little,
right?
But
yeah. Anyway, yeah.
The orcs are just born evil.
Man.
Don't think about it too much.
Don't think about it
too much. They're the bad guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No.
So that's Anime Club, I think.
Yeah, it's Anime Club. That's Trigun too. That's Anime Club. That's Trigun too.
For now.
Trigun for
now.
now.
Yeah, next time it's Anime Club Day, remember to watch the first 2 episodes of Mobile Fighter G Gundam.
God, so good.
English dub preferred. It's a really wild ride. The English dub. I will have some oh my God, we get to do no need for trivia. Okay, I've already got some stuff.
So excited. That's right, because this is Newland's vanity pick. So Newland's about this life. This is Newland's vanity
I'm about
pick.
this life.
Newland's
extremely about this life. The show is very important to me as a kid. Thanks again, Audrey. We're very glad you could join us.
Audrey!
Thanks for hanging out, guys.
My pleasure. That bell means this meeting of the Afterschool Anime Club has come to a close. We're so glad you could come and join us. Bing bong.
Fuck your life.
What was that thing? Big bong, fuck your life?
Fuck your life.
We're so glad you could be with us again. Reviews are so helpful. We love it when you review our podcast. Nobody's done it in a little while, so I don't have anything to read. But you can also just tell your friends about the show. Moonshot is doing all kinds of great things at moonshotpodcast.com. Is that the right Is that the right URL, Audrey?
I think it's moonshotpods.com.
Yeah.
Or you can go to goodfuckingshows.com.
Yeah. Shows.
Love that.
Yes, correct. That's accurate.
Honestly.
Or you can also go to moonshot.mov for the Moonshot Twitch channel, which is extremely cool, and lots of VODs up there right now for stuff you can see. Including the Moon Carnival, where we raised $7,000 for Trans Lifeline. Woo! And yeah, if you leave a comment, leave a review that is like good and cool and has no chicken-headed shit in it, I will read it.
Nada. No chicken-headed shit. We don't do that
Tolerance is 0.
Zero. A whole goose egg. Not even a chicken. A goose egg.
Boom.
Tell them.
And you can't play egg game with that.
I be forgetting about egg game, and then I remember.
Never forget about egg game.
Egg game.
Egg game.
All right.
Egg game. Have a good night. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Na Journey to distant realms. Explore the furthest reaches of the universe. Survive deadly dangers. Experience matters of the heart and more in a new actual play podcast. Join me, Audrey. That's right, just me, as I play tabletop games designed for one player. From journaling games to tarot games to even games that take me outside, I'm bringing you along for the ride. Join me for every episode of Alone at the Table.